Are parks a priority for the city?
Absolutely. I mean,
for the first time, Mayor Joe Hogsett is responding to a WRTV investigation into what some call forgotten parks. We showed you high weeds, trash, and playground equipment in disrepair. Tonight, a retired Indy Parks employee says the city's top leader needs to do something. We got a huge response to our investigation, and you've made it clear you want to hear from the mayor. WRTV Investigates Kara Kenny explains what the mayor had to say and looks into a solution already in the works.
We want to talk to you about Indy Parks.
For a month, we've been asking the mayor's office to speak with Joe Hogsett about the condition of our parks.
Weeds, trash, disrepair.
His office wouldn't set up an interview, so we showed up to a public event.
Is that acceptable to you as the mayor?
no, of course it's not.
Are parks a priority for the city?
Absolutely.
More from the mayor in a bit, but first,
massively tall weeds.
how did we get here in the first place?
Is this an example of a park that's been forgotten by the city?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Pete Wenzel worked for Indy Parks for 16 years.
And this is years of neglect that we're seeing here.
Ridenour Park near Rockville Road is plagued with weeds, graffiti, trash. The garbage can is burned to a crisp.
What message does this send?
Parks are not a priority for the people of Indianapolis.
Pete travels the city documenting the condition of parks. He's taken hundreds of photos. In fact, before he retired in October 2022, he sent 21 PowerPoint presentations and this memo to Indy Parks leadership expressing concern about the state of our parks, including Bowman Park and its bullet-riddled sign. Despite his pleas, Pete says not much has changed.
What comes to mind when you see that?
I feel bad for the kids, coming to this park. It screams the city doesn't care.
Even though Pete was a manager, he says he was powerless to change how the city structures maintenance. Let's get into the weeds for a second with how that works. The Parks Department can address things like broken playground equipment and bathrooms, but another city agency, the Department of Public Works, is responsible for trash, mowing, and weed removal. DPW does some of the work themselves, but it also contracts with 5 companies to do the work, paying them more than $640,000 a year. Ridenour Park is DPW's responsibility.
What exactly is broken?
The city has divided up the maintenance of parks into so many small areas that it really doesn't get the attention it needs. Just a maze of management that really goes to no one person, and that's the biggest problem. The face of Indy Parks maintenance is nobody.
Over several years, the city's investing a historic $142 million in its parks, thanks to money from the American Rescue Plan, Circle City Forward, and the Lilly Endowment. Dozens of parks are on the list to be renovated, including a new playground for Ridenour Park.
In a way, their kind of periodic maintenance has been to let parks get in such a terrible condition that they can't maintain them and they have to renovate them.
What do you think about that?
It's a horrible use of taxpayer dollars.
What's your response to that?
Well, upkeep is always necessary. I mean, if you allow things just to stand alone, yeah, they're going to show their age and they're going to show wear and tear. That does not excuse the city from not doing everything within its fiscal power to make sure that the parks are maintained appropriately, and we take that very seriously.
Did those PowerPoints or that memo ever make it to your office?
They certainly didn't make it to my office. I do, on frequent occasion, meet with parks senior staff, and that will be a question I will ask.
The City County Council just approved a 16% budget increase for Indy Parks, bringing them to more than $53 million in 2025.
Which will include additional project manager positions for the specific purpose of construction and maintenance. Perhaps we have not prioritized those areas as much as they should be, but we have acknowledged that.
The mayor says he's willing to look at restructuring park maintenance, including creating an administrator position to oversee it.
Indy Park says Bowman Park, the one with the bullet holes in the sign, is not on the list for improvements, but they're looking at options. You can watch our original investigation into forgotten parks. We link to it in this story on WRTV.com and the WRTV app. We visited 10% of the city's parks all around the city and found half had issues with high weeds.
Kara, I'm glad you followed up on this, got a response from the mayor. It is important to note, though, you did find some parks in good condition, like Frederick Douglass Park. That's a great condition, yeah.
Absolutely. The parks that have been renovated are in great shape, and especially the ones that have that new rubberized surface. The city says that is key because long-term maintenance costs will be reduced by not having those weeds popping through the mulch. Well, we want to hear from you. Please send us your pictures and questions about your parks. My email is kara.kenny@wrtv.com.